adjourn the meeting of the regular meeting of Wilson Community Service District. Roll call.
Director Greg Washington.
Here.
Director Alfred Wallace.
Here. Thank you.
Director Rick Webb.
I'm here.
Vice President Ben Stewart.
Here.
President Byron Glennon.
Here.
We do have a quorum. General Manager Kim Domingo.
Here.
Director of Public Works John Houghton.
Here.
I am the Director of Administration. My name is Sherry Tim. Do we have legal counsel John Comar on the phone with us?
You do.
Good evening, John.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Would everyone rise for the pledge, please? Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May the God we just pledged grant us the discernment we need to make the decisions tonight that please Him.
And I say amen.
Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
So, Mr. President.
I have a motion for approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve or accept it.
Motion.
As presented, I'm sorry, sir. As presented, not accepted.
Motion second.
Second.
Second, Stewart. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Our agenda is approved. So let's move into it. Public comment. Anyone out there who'd like to make a comment that you'd like us to hear? Now's the time. Hearing none. As a member of the public and not as a director, I have a quiz tonight. I hope someone knows the answer. My father was born in 1909, and I'm going to quote from a man born 2 years after my father in 1911. This man was responsible for my father switching from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. I have a shirt with this quote printed on it that this man made. Here's the quote. If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, we will be a nation gone under. Who's the man? When I wear this shirt, somebody always says something to me about him. Take a wild guess. Born in 1911. The man was Ronald Reagan.
Oh.
Ronald Reagan.
Okay, sir, that's unfair because I wasn't born then. I'll challenge that question.
The quote again is, if we ever forget that we're one nation under God, we will be a nation gone under. And it's so appropriate what's going on
Absolutely.
today.
Yes, yeah.
Voluntary public roll call via teleconference. Anybody out there?
Hi, this is Natalie Willis from Hydra Store.
Good evening, Natalie. Anyone else?
What did you say?
Moving on to the consent calendar, CC1, check vouchers from September 19th and payroll through the 27th. I have a motion.
Motion to approve.
May I have a second?
Second.
Same two. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Minutes. Approval of M1, minutes from the regular board meeting of September the 27th. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion Stewart, second.
Second.
You lost your place.
My brother's not working.
Second. Director Washington, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to new business, NB1. approve the new master service agreement with GEI, approving task 2023-2 with GEI for engineering services related to phase 1 of the arsenic consolidation project. And I say amen that we're working on the arsenic consolidation project, and it's moving forward ever so steadily. Go ahead, General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to kind of give you I know that this project has been going on for a long time, and I'll give you a short version of this item. But back on April 18, 2018, the district actually entered into an agreement with GEI for engineering services related to planning and development. The agreement terminated on April 18, 2021, but design services related to the grant funding continued to be provided under the agreement. So, and was completed. But what has happened, just to kind of give you an idea of why it's been stalled, is it was discovered that easements were needed in order to put pipelines to reach the communities that are going to be joining the district because of their arsenic levels. And so kind of an extensive effort has been taken by actually the next item on the agenda, a surveying company and a easement, how do I say, an easement acquisition consultant. So essentially GAI has done all the work that they had contracted for, and they've been just kind of in a holding pattern waiting to kind of finish up the project. This agreement actually approves an amount that will get us to the finish line, and this is all reimbursable under the grant. So it's no money out of the district pocket. It is reimbursable, so we do front money, but we get reimbursed. So the amount is for $141,544.
Again, sir. The amount
$141,544.
Thank you.
And there's, like I will say again, there's no direct cost to the district. They're using our new master services agreement. We've negotiated the language and the terms, and the first task order task order 2023-02 is related to finishing up phase 1. There's going to be another phase, so we're going to bring another work order to you for the phase 2 work. But this is to finish up phase 1 and get this out on the streets to bid.
Any questions?
You just answered my question. Okay.
And when we got started in this way back, and it kind of been moving around, and yes, they'd reimburse us, and there was one point where we had, at the beginning, had shelled out quite a bit of money, and we were wondering if we were ever going to be reimbursed. But they have reimbursed every penny at this point. So this is maybe we put the money up front, but we will be getting it back, and we have gotten, I believe it's safe to say, every penny that we've spent on the arsenic grant.
I have not been confirmed that, but my understanding it is. And essentially this project, it's a Rosamond project, but it's really promoted by the state.
Yeah.
So it's really their project.
And I understand Land of Promise is back in it.
Separately.
They were in it, out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not part of this project. So just so you're aware. So that'll be either phase 2 or that'll be a whole other.
How are we coming on the easements? Pretty good. We're getting most of it.
We can talk about that in the next item.
Oh, okay. All right. I have a motion for NB1.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. President.
NB2, my premature question.
Yes. This is related to the Master Services Agreement with Quad Knop, also known as QK, and approved task order number 2023-01 with QK2 for the easement acquisition and survey services related. So this is related to actually phase 2 of the project. And this is what's taken so long to get done. So there's parts of the project that actually the engineering is done. It needs to be updated to split the project apart, and that's what the previous item was for. This item is to actually obtain all the easements. We have approximately, I would say, 20 to 25% of the easements in hand that we need. And QK and what's the name of it? Hammer and Jewel, yes. Hammer and Jewel's our easement acquisition consultant. They are diligently working. It's been difficult on some of the properties because, quite frankly, they're having a hard time finding them. So, but we've been working with QK, and QK needs $67,000 to finish their work. And again, it's going to be reimbursed by the grant. No cost to the district, and I recommend approval.
If we know the party and they're being stubborn, should we send John out personally to talk to them? And
we tried not to do that because we don't know. Perhaps they might be armed. Oh, I'm just kidding. But
any questions for?
I do have one question in regards to this. In the event, since this has to get done, we have issues with getting the easement. What's the contingency? If, like, he's bringing up one of these people who's not going along, do we go to the state and ask them to help us with it, or is there a process to get that done?
So we're trying to avoid, if you're talking about condemnation procedures, we're absolutely trying to avoid that. That's like last resort.
Gotcha.
So we're trying to go, if somebody is just absolutely adamant they're not going to participate, we're looking at options to go across the street or on the other side of the property line and go and work with the other. It's creating some engineering challenges because we'll have some crossovers.
Yes.
But we're trying to not do that because that would actually extend
the project,
time that
the timeline
even longer. So that's part of it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I was exposed to some people that were a little confused about it going in front of their property, even though they weren't being connected. And I think that we've cleared up that most of the time, and that is one of the problems. They think they're going to be forced to be connected just because it's running in front of their property.
That is not our intent.
The answer is probably eventually, but I didn't give them that answer. Yeah, the idea that there may be a time in the future when they choose to connect, when their well goes bad, or
it will create an interesting situation for those property owners. I will say that.
Any other questions? All right. I have a motion for NB2.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Director Willett. Second. Second, Director Stewart. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion NB2, new business, approved. NB3, capital project number 01245, water service replacement project.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is I gave you kind of a little bit of a preview at the last meeting about this project that we're going to present to you tonight. We did an analysis of the amount of leaks that we have in our system and where we find the majority of our leaks. And the project we're proposing to you is, I'll call it, for lack of a better term, the treacle tract. And we evaluated what it cost for us to go out and fix a leak, determined how many times we had to go out in a 3-year period, because that was our data set was 3 years. Determined what the annual cost to each one of those services within that tract, and then compared that with the amount, the cost that it would take to actually replace those services. So that would eliminate us having to go back out there. And in the staff report, there's a table that shows a payback period.
How long it would take to
correct
to break even.
So and the payback period we targeted was 25 years because the material we're going to use to replace the water service lines has a guarantee or warranty of 25 years. So if the payback was going to be less than that, then they are definitely a candidate for replacing all the water services on that street. And so we looked at the worst case streets, and there's about, just eyeballing, I didn't count them, but there's about 15 streets with looks like about 300 services in round numbers. But this particular project that we developed can or would accomplish replacing all the services in that tract, and the payback period we determined was going to be about 11 years. So we actually gained 14 years of avoided service costs, and that amount, based on how much it costs for us to actually to do average cost for a service leak repair, we'd save about $650,000 over a 25-year period by spending this money up front. So you can see that it would be a payback.
So what's you said we'd save $650,000 over 25 years.
Yeah.
What prices are we looking at going into it to do it?
We're going to spend $600,000.
So you're going to break even?
Basically. But we don't really know that yet because we're assuming that each service line is going to cost us $5,000. We're not going to know until we actually open bids.
Okay, so that was the other question. This goes out to open bid.
Yep.
You're not doing it now.
Correct.
What's the threshold to go out to bid?
$60,000.
And your plan is to do it all at one time, get it done?
Yes.
Then work on the savings number. Working towards this versus going out every week doing the leak repairs.
So just to give you an idea, we spend about $500,000 a year. I reported that last week.
Yeah.
$500,000 a year to repair leaks.
Yeah.
We're going to avoid 25 years of leak repair in this area, which is a portion of the system. And it's going to save us approximately $650,000.
Yeah, gotcha.
25-year period.
Yeah.
I'd like to come back to you next budget and we'll put the same for another project.
What budget? You mean the next meeting?
The next budget meeting.
Next budget. So next year. Yeah.
Next year.
We're going to, what we'd like to do, and John's making a great point, is that this needs to be, we're trying to take a proactive approach and use what's already been built into our rates for some water line replacements, which we're not having issues with.
But you're anticipating could come up.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the table in the staff report, there's a number of lines that are all candidates. We just don't have enough money right now to pack all of them. So the idea is we're going to bid this as a base bid, this set of streets as a base bid, and then we're going to list some of these other streets as alternate bids, and if we can get it all under the $600,000, we're going to get it all, and we're going to actually have a better payback.
Gotcha.
A much better payback.
So we're going to definitely try to
Because people don't want to spend money on preventative maintenance. Wait till.
We do over 165 at least a year.
Yeah, we still have. And
We got
besides,
here every meeting. That's the majority of our work here.
and besides that, it would save on needing to hire new employees if we stayed with the same system and we continue to grow. Just like reading the meters has become much more efficient, which requires less man hours. Any other questions? All right, may I have a motion for NB3? Motion, Director Washington, second? I'll second. Second, Director Wallace. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. NB3 is approved. NB4, approved transfer of funds and capital project budget from, this is what you just said, from administrative storage building to the video van for project.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just to move a small amount of money from a project that we are probably not going to do this year to a line item that so we can purchase the video van that we can put our camera in and actually have an actual camera tour video van that we can then use to go out and do our monitoring and maintenance.
Any questions?
Yeah, what are the dollar amounts that we're moving?
$10,000.
Is that to buy? So here's a question.
Yes.
You're going to buy a van.
Yes.
That means a used van.
Yes. So it's you currently or the board approved $60,000 at the budget, but it's not enough. We need an additional $10,000.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is in addition to get the...
Yep.
All right, gotcha.
Any other questions? I have a motion for NB4.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion Director Wallace, second Director Stewart. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. NB4 was added to the agenda. Rick, you need to stand up. For NB4, you need to stand up. I mean NB5.
I don't see 5. It's been approved.
Stand up. You can't lead us to happy birthday for the to our fellow manager.
So here's what we're going to do. You get it right. John, you do the baritone. Hey, come on, everybody on 2. 1, 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. So now you see what we're all the rest of the managers.
And I was told we spent a huge amount of money for his birthday party, and he is turning 27, I was told. Wow.
Boy, we really do deal in poop here, don't we?
Oh, my goodness.
All right. There was no NB5, so just eliminate everything we just did.
Thank you very much.
Presentation. Water Reclamation Project Update.
First of all, the plant is operating great, making great water quality, providing us the percolation and the credit with the water master. It's doing a great job. Ryan's pulling everything together. We still have the one issue that's holding our notice of completion, but we're starting to see some movement on the contractor side. They were actually on the site today to start doing things that they need to do to finish it up. So unless there's any questions, I'm actually going to propose that we remove this from the agenda from further, and I'll include it in my GM report as something pertinent comes up. That way we're just not talking about the same thing. If that's okay with the board.
When we were in the process of building on a regular basis and needing change orders and stuff, I guess it was probably more germane at that time to do it. But is there any opposition to?
I think that's, if this year we're almost at the finish line, that's a good way to do it because we're just saying the same words different ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And on next, like I said, I will not, when something of substance comes, I'll include it in my GM report.
Substance.
Very good.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'll be in favor of that, Mr. President.
Moving on to the Director's Report. Director Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week I attended the Water Smart Innovation Conference in Las Vegas. Got the chance to network with industry insiders from as far away as Chicago. I attended a discussion on compliance solutions regarding water conservation and drought planning as it relates to Assembly Bill 1668 and SB 606, which as a new director was very informative. Also got a chance to attend a water quality presentation discussing PFAS and microplastics and possible future MCL limits in the next couple of years. So being that I'm chair of the Water Committee, Tim, I'd like for you to schedule a committee meeting before the year out to discuss your and review water issues and challenges we face in the upcoming year.
Okay.
It will do.
All right. Director Wallace? Director Stewart?
I heard an interesting fact at the AVEC meeting. They said it's historical knowledge that if we have a wet El Nino here, it will be a dry one up north.
Yeah, they're
Northern California.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
So that was pretty interesting. That's all I got.
Yes, there.
Your turn.
Oh, okay. How you looking at it? Okay, I also attended the Water Innovators Conference, and Mr. Washington, no, the farthest place was Florida. Remember the guy from Florida? He said Chicago. Florida. We met someone from Florida there. Interesting part is that everybody, when I say everybody, across this country has water issues. I met a gentleman from Florida, and they were talking about the water issues they had, the Midwest. I guess Phoenix is a new hot topic as far as water conservation. We know Vegas is the standard, the Southern Nevada Water Authority, they're kind of the standard for conservation issues. Phoenix is coming on hot and heavy. They had a ton of programs. The interesting part to me that I attended a lot of the conservation type things. Everybody is talking conservation, injecting the water, saving the water, catching every drop of it. They're to the point now with a lot of these agencies, and we're not in a position to give rebates, Mr. GM, but everyone has some type of rebates. I did attend the one seminar, and I hope I can find it, give you the information to follow up on it. But a lot of the different grants to help a lot of the agencies with the rebates. The thing we may want to think about, everyone thinks outside to focus on inside rebates. So there's a lot of those available. But I think the good part about the conference is that everyone there, top to bottom, was talking about save water, and some of the innovative ways to save water. So it was a good conference. I'm glad I attended. And then the other part, we don't realize that water thing pulls everybody together with the common denominator. Everybody at that conference had a water concern. No one ever said they had too much. Florida, Denver, everyone was talking about conserving the water they had. So not just, we want to just think it's a California issue. It's a people issue across our country. But I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Did you see where Saudi Arabia is raising all that alfalfa in Arizona?
Oh, yeah.
15,000 acres.
Yes, they are.
And they're not even metering their water. And the governor cut them off. Not going to renew their leases. And they're shipping the alfalfa to Saudi Arabia. Interesting.
Yes.
I had the privilege of representing us at the groundbreaking for a cafeteria at Roseman High School last week. The current cafeteria was built with the school, designed for 300 students. And the last few years, they've gone to 2 lunch schedules, staggered schedules, so they can get all the students through the cafeteria. And they're pushing 1,000 students now. And so the solution would be maybe 3 lunch periods or 4. So that's why they're building a new cafeteria. And I talked to Raleigh, asking about the project out at Tropical. And pretty much some of the same contractors are doing this one here, and they're on target. And as a person being on target with your contract is very important. But this is going to be a year before this cafeteria is done. Anyway, I was there and I had the opportunity to say a couple things, and I'm going to read them to you so you know what I said. Congratulations from Roseman Green Service District. When we think of cafeteria, we think of food. Classic line, huh? But we should think of the hands that prepared the food daily. I think of Mrs. Harper. Who do you think of when you think of cafeteria food?
Charlene Melcher.
Charlene Melcher. When we think of school, we think of teachers who take the place of parents and are accountable to those parents is the heart and mind of the teacher that is passed on to the student that has made our nation great. May we not stray from the foundations laid by the forefathers in our Constitution. And anyway, I was privileged to be there, and it's going to be a year, but they'll have a new cafeteria. And I thought they ought to name it after somebody who eats a lot. And so I gave them a suggestion. No, I didn't.
The Byron Glennon cafeteria.
All right. General Counsel update.
No, I got nothing for you. It's always good when your general counsel has no report.
Well, thank you, sir. General Manager update.
I've got a few things, Mr. President. Just an update on the SSMP. We pulled some information together that was supposed to be included in the SSMP. We will have a sewer committee meeting scheduled for review. We were hoping to have it this week, but it'll be next week before the next meeting, because they are going to present at the October 25th board meeting where it's planned for board adoption. So it's coming together. I think the staff is happy. We put together some items. I'll just say Jim Fisher has taken some suggestions and some thoughts that we had, and he's ran with them. So we appreciate the work that he's been doing for us, and we appreciate also some of the suggestions that have been provided by the sewer committee meeting the last time as well. That's helped us kind of get them to the finish line. Aqua's been reaching out to member agencies. We talked a little bit about this, about making conservation a California way of life regulation. And so the regulation would do a few things. It requires the district to meet a specific water use objective starting in 2025. It requires the district to implement commercial, industrial, and institutional performance measures. And that's related to irrigation as well. And it talks about, some of the standards talks about non-functional turf, basically the elimination of non-functional turf. And then also requires the district to comply with annual reporting requirements, where now it's a requirement, but not, really a requirement. Now it's you have to comply. And so the requirements, they appear to be innocuous, but implementing them could be challenging and costly. Staff is working on determining the district's specific cost of implementation to determine the impacts, because they were asking there was actually a public hearing that was held on the 4th. We didn't have enough time to put together our costs to join that meeting, but they've asked us to sign on to the coalition letter, which is due the 13th, which we're going to do. We're going to sign on to the coalition letter, and then to submit our own comment letter by October 17th. So, we're going to put together some comments. It'll probably follow somewhat Aqua's form, but try to get specific with some of what we think is going to be our real cost impact, so that I think it's going to come regardless, but I think regardless of other costs, we need to let them know that it would be nice if some money came along with because somewhere it's going to have to happen, right?
At some point, they've got to realize every regulation is costing money.
Yes. A couple more items. Kern County General Services has reached out regarding the Wolford Park pool and whether the district would consider assuming its operation. I knew this was coming. This is my old. No. Thank you for that, because that will be a short conversation I'm supposed to have with them on Monday then. But I mean, for due diligence, I'm gonna hear them out.
Well, you got to hit other board members too.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't inform you about what their proposal is until I hear the proposal. So, but I did tell them that I would at least entertain it. So I want to let you know that was coming. My current recommendation is to not do it. So just so you know where I'm coming from.
The code is for
funding proposals that didn't sound like it was going to be feasible.
You know, they couldn't get enough lifeguards this year. It was only open on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, and it's very costly to run.
Mr. Jim, could I make just a comment? I'm thinking from the time we had it, I think for us to even think about going back to it after having it, getting it back and we take it back, makes us look bad in the community's eyes.
Yeah.
I would have as a community member, oh, so what's different now? And then if they the word of getting additional money to pay for it from that community over there, we lose all credibility completely.
I do not disagree. Again, I'm going to listen to their...
Absolutely. I'm just saying the thought process I would have on that one. Yeah.
Absolutely. I believe me. I'm saying, okay, show me where it's going to be. It's going to work out for us without us having to go back to our taxpayers. That's all. That's pretty much the end of the story. I just got a flyer today. AVEX having a grand opening of the High Desert Water Bank on Monday, October 23rd at 10 a.m. So apparently everybody's gonna drive out there and watch water get poured on the ground. So I may go out there and watch them do that, just to show support. Yeah. And then finally, what was that?
Looking at all things we're going to have to
And finally, another reminder, and I'm going to remind you again at the next meeting, I'm going to be away from the office and out of the country starting October 26th through November 8th. I'll be back on the mainland on November 9th and back in the office on November 13th because we're actually going to be closed. The office is going to be closed on Thursday, November 9th because of Veterans Day. Correct. So, and I'll remind you once again at the next meeting. I will be back until the 13th. Yeah, I'll be checking. I'm going to be out of the country, but I'm actually probably going to be checking stuff every night because I do not like coming back to that many emails. I do not like it. Anyway, that's all I have.
Just delete them. Don't worry about it.
Can we have any updates on Diamond Street and 20th?
Thank you for asking that. We actually received a proposal from a consultant that will get us through the Surplus Land Act process. Help. I actually shared that proposal with our attorney to get his input because, quite frankly, I don't have a whole lot of experience with those kind of services and how much they should cost. And John provided some very good insight. I probably would have, it may or may not have been on the agenda tonight, but I'm still going to do some vetting of that proposal. But that's, we're heading towards demolition sale and potential lease sale on the other. So that's kind of where we're at with it.
Any other questions for the general manager? All right, moving on. Director of Administration update.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today we performed our shut-off for both the regular delinquent account and the payment arrangement account. We had 14. So just to give you an idea, I reported last meeting that we had delivered 98 door hangers on the 19th. So from that down to 14, our customers are doing a good job in paying attention to those notices. So we had 5 payment arrangements. So we're still seeing more than what I'd like on people that have payment arrangements with us that are defaulting on them. So they're breaking up payment arrangements. So we have, at the end of the day, 5 out of those 14, 5 have not paid as of the end of the day, and then 2 of those 5 payment arrangement folks have not paid. Open enrollment begins for the district. Our period will be October 18th through November 2nd, and I'll be hosting a kickoff meeting for the employees on October 18th. Just to let them know that, we do offer free medical plans, and most everyone has Kaiser, and there's been some talk of folks want to get some more information and maybe think about some other options. So that'll be presented to them in a meeting on October 18th.
Kaiser's kind of our guideline of the amount that we...
That is correct. We pay 100% of the cost for Kaiser and the employee's eligible dependents, and then we would apply that amount if there's any other plan that they wish to take advantage of. And that's all I have to report.
Any questions for Director of Administration? All right.
Public Works update.
I have no real update. If you have any questions on the report.
I like the pictures.
Hey, John, I had a question on Norm. What's going in across the street from Sky Park Shopping Center? Do you have any idea?
It's just an addition to those duplex houses that are there.
Okay.
Facing those.
It's not a business.
No.
No, okay.
As you know, it was it's like a little gated community.
Yeah, it's a gated community. Yeah.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
Addition.
It goes all the way back to the
Yeah.
Sky Park right there. Yeah. All right.
I have a question for you. On service lines, if you're screening, if you guys have service lines like lower returns?
Not small, larger, yeah.
I was just curious if you were familiar with the municipal tax. It's a service line that we're being recommended by both the engineers and vendors.
Are they a lining service or no?
No, they're a manufacturer.
Yeah, never. I haven't heard of them.
It's kind of like the specs they use in houses, but industrial strength. And it's got one that's 25-year warranty on it.
I'll look into
Everybody
it.
I talk to that's just great stuff. It's a lot of people that have copper and are replacing copper are using it for disinfecting, and if it comes to the same OD.
I'll answer around and put you with the right people. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, everybody that I talked to a couple standard feeder water agencies and stuff. They went to it. They're real happy with it.
Okay.
And then the vendor says that everybody that he supplies that stuff to has been happy with it. So I was just curious if you had any experience with it. Not much of the 48 inches or bigger.
Yeah. They're big time in the relieving pipes now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're out there in South Bay area now. That's probably the next 5 years or so.
All right. Anything else before we adjourn? All right. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Director Wallace, second. Director Washington. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:43.
Let's go back right. I know. Nice to go.